do not focus on something everyone else is focusing on. Driver compliance will then bring stablecoins. Stablecoins will be accepted just as much as the fiat. The whole idea came from just me being me, inviting people after COVID out for drinks, and it got from 10 people to 20 people to 30 people to 50 people with just a group send out. I realized that there was a gap in the market.
Hello, everyone. My name is Igor Tomych, and I'm CEO at DashDevs. And today you're looking at a new episode of the Fintech Garden. And I would like to present Stavros Psyllos, who is VP of Enterprise and Institutional at OpenPaid, but also he's a founder and chairman of the organization Cyprus Fintech Organization. And it's really a pleasure to talk with you again, Stavros. How are you today?
Thank you, Igor. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very well, always.
Today, we're going to discuss quite important topic as ecosystem and communities. In our podcast, we discuss a lot of technologies, but I think it's the first time for me, it's an opportunity to discuss with the founder and chairman, the community and how actually it's working and what it gives in terms of current speed racing evolution of the infrastructure, of the ways how we're doing the things. So the topic for today will be the ecosystem. And if I can kind of rephrase it, fintech is evolving faster than its ecosystem. Do we need a new model for building the industry and communities? And high level question maybe that we will start. How you will define the community? Because a lot of people are discussing, we have a community here and there. How you, from your experience and your execution in Cyprus, you will define what is it? Like how to explain to a 5-year-old person?
If I was to explain it to a 5-year-old, I would say it's like developing a playground where all kinds of kids from different races, different abilities, different interests and characters get together, all being under the same umbrella, the school, to learn from each other and help each other adopt and learn from experiences, basically, so that their own capability and potential can evolve and can grow. When it comes to societies, communities, associations, if you will, we found that it's very stagnated. So basically, we find that every country has an association. They all demand memberships from people in the industry, but it's all one-sided, right? So this is where we are going to bridge a lot of gaps in terms of having a society, a community, and association, and give the people what they want. And something that I think we can expand, that if the world now is all data-driven, the asset right now in any industry, in any marketplace, in any organization, in corporation, the top thing that everyone looks at first is data. So this is the model that we're going to base society, community, association on, so that we create a group where different people with different experiences within the same industry, maybe different responsibilities, different accountability within their organization, can get together and have a voice, let us know what they want to get back from an association. And this is where we're going to be different. And this is how it's going to be driven. So data-driven, people first, community association, where we can deliver in what they need.
You mentioned all the associations, and I kind of felt also sometimes with the different kind of associations in IT or in fintechs, it's kind of the organization which is taken, not given. What you're describing is a community which is taking care and kind of giving back to their community. And maybe you have some examples like what potentially it can be, what you think people are lacking and what they can benefit from.
Of course. I mean, this is what we've been looking at for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, funny enough, the whole idea came from just me being me, inviting people after COVID out for drinks. And it got from 10 people to 20 people to 30 people to 50 people with just a group send out, And I realized that there was a gap in the market, or there was a need from these professionals within the industry to kind of network and communicate with each other and spend time with each other. So that's how it all kind of started. So after getting about 800 members on our LinkedIn group, we thought, let's make a serious effort into creating something for them. So if the way I see it, and this is not a dig at anyone from any other country, any fintech association specifically from any other country, this is in general, associations tend to drive their own narrative and build the things that benefit them. So when it comes to the membership, the yearly fee, they think it's okay to just set up a few campaigns, publish some data, things that don't really take a lot of effort. AI can do a lot of that stuff anyway now. So I find that a bit inexcusable. Then organize one or two or three events that are designed and built, in the narrative and the way that they want it to be. So the way we're going to kind of reverse engineer this is, first of all, we're launching an app. The team that is setting this up now is working on an all year round app where members can create their profiles, they can network with each other all year round. There's going to be maybe a few fun games in there with AI matchmaking, one day of the month, so that they can speak to people that they're interested in speaking to based on the criteria, the preferences, and the algorithm that's going to be set. But essentially, with the app, we are going to, and this is where I take it to the data-driven model. We are going to take data from the members. We're going to ask them, what do you want? Always check what they want to get out of events, what they want to get out of the information that we send out, any new initiatives that they want seen in the industry or location-wise in the city they're in. We are going to deliver based on what they tell us, right? So we are not going to be an association where we build our own events the way we like it. You buy the ticket, you come, and force people to come because there aren't many fintech events in Cyprus. So when it comes to activities, for example, so a lot of these events are all have the same kind of rhythm to them, layout and format. You go to the event, there's a coffee, panels, networking, and not much else really comes into it. But we're going to be different. So we're going to work with those events because they are needed. You need the information, the education, and the space where people can learn from the experts on stage. But we are going to be a marketplace for them. So those events we will partner with all around the islands, right? So you've got the Cyprus Fintech Summit, IFX Expo, Cube Events do a few events around the year, RegTech and Payments. Our members will be able to sign up from our platform to go to those events. But where we're going to be different is we're going to segregate, first of all, the members. You're going to get C-level members that don't really want to be pitched by sales guys every day, on the app. So we're going to create forums and groups where they can all speak to the same level people as them. For example, one request that came in was a C-level golfing outing that can be created. There's going to be the open events, obviously, where everyone can just go and drink and have fun. There's going to be the more, let's say, expert-specific events on compliance. I think a lot is needed, technology and AI. The crypto group that's going to be created. So every vertical is going to have their own committee that's going to be driving the initiatives. They're going to be using the data given by the members to then go and plan wherever they want. And our organization is there to give them tools and resources. And that's the main idea. But apart from that, when it comes to, let's say, the future of fintech, and I don't think a lot of associations kind of, again, not specifically to fintech, but they don't really look at the long game, the long-term plan. We are going to be offering free memberships to students, either in accounting, finance, or let's say an MBA, and they're interested in fintech. There's going to be mentorship, shadowing programs, internships, and we're going to give them the ability to get some visibility, get some experience within fintech, because not many degrees give you the true meaning of fintech in a workplace environment. Some people, walk into a world of shock when it comes to it, and that can be said for a number of industries because of textbook theory to experience is practical skills and tasks is very different. So we are going to be promoting CPD certificates, merit-appointed internships for the universities so it can count towards their degree. We're partnering with a new initiative now. It's going to be the first payments-focused MBA that we're going to be promoting around the world for payments. People that kind of stumbled into that head of payments director role, they can actually get certified or qualified in it. Apart from that, there's a marketplace for recruitment. Any corporate member that comes into the association can advertise the positions. The members can then have a list of vacancies they can apply to. And there's a lot more. I could talk about all the features and ideas that we've got in mind that the people are asking for the next hour. So I think maybe we can do a follow-up on the specific features and what we're going to give back to the community. Go anytime you want later in the year.
And it feels for me like it's an evolution of the internet that I think I had a chance to see, because if you recall, like the internet in the early 2000s, it was basically the television. You're just subscribing and you're reading the news. There is no ability to comment or create anything yourself. So it's basically one-way road. And if I can sum up, that feels that it's a time when the community is becoming two-way road. It's not just taking from people and streaming back the thoughts and kind of narratives that you want as association, but kind of building two-way road when you are listening to what people up to and what are their real needs, and then supporting them with the real needs. And I think everyone who's listening to us will be curious, like, are you going to use AI? Because communities existed before. Are you putting any thoughts about like a machine learning, and how do you feel it will match with the experience of the community? Because at this stage, is it something that can bring the value for the experts, or it's a challenging idea in fintech communities?
With AI, I mean, it's the question of all questions right now in anything, right? So the way I see it, with our project, just like any other company bringing AI into the mix, the best way to do it is to have outsource it to the experts, right? Because we're starting slow, we're bootstrapping this, and to be fair, in all honesty, yes, I founded it, but I have a team that kind of does everything they're supposed to do within their delegated verticals. We haven't appointed anyone for the AI side of things as of yet, but that's on purpose. It's strategic, because what we want to do is the same way there's going to be committees for each vertical, we are going to create a committee for AI where experts come in. Same thing. You'll have the different tiers: students, the professionals within AI, the experts. We will drive the initiatives that the AI industry wants. And in the same way, we're going to get proof of concept how effective AI is by having that subcommittee of artificial intelligence work on initiatives on the organization itself. So then we can then use it. We will have a use case, let's say, of how AI helped the Cyprus Fintech organization grow, how he streamlined, how he automated stuff. But initially, using our technology, the AI matchmaking side of things, I mean, that's quite simple, I suppose, to be done. I mean, the dating apps are doing that, right now on their own. But yeah, AI is very much a roadmap that we want to explore, for sure. But I want to bring it in on practical terms and actually get the community to work on projects on the organization so we can have a use case on it.
That's actually pretty smart, because I assume the best way to check the things is to see the execution. Because a lot of things right now, even if you open the social networks, LinkedIn, people are doing great things, but are they really executing or advertising it? So I think that's really good approach, like a learn by doing and showing the results to the community. And it kind of drives me back to the question of people, because digital part is quite clear. Like a lot of communities right now build digitally online. How do you feel and what do you see? Because being local community is an ability to gather people in the specific place and do the activities. Do you do anything except like the expertise, like lectures and matchmaking? Is it any help to have, I don't know, some outdoors activities, or is it some kind of the part of the project that you do?
Yes, I mean, when it comes to activities, I've heard all sorts of insane stuff, and I keep telling people, as long as the data's there, the numbers are there. So if the majority of a group want it, within reason, it can be crazy, but we'll get it done for you. So there's a lot of, for example, non-Cypriots working in Limassol within the industry. And they're finding that Limassol is progressing, it's becoming commercial, and they want a traditional night. So we're thinking of doing a traditional night where you get the Greek music, the Cypriot foods, and give them an experience, a local experience for the non-Cypriots in the industry. Obviously, the Cypriots can be invited to it as well, but sea-level golfing outing. Everyone is into paddle now, so a paddle tournament is on the cards as well. The five-a-side football, the mini football tournaments. There's even talks of chess tournaments. So according to everyone's activities and preferences, we will make it happen so that it's a fun day out. I mean, there's even talks about hikes up in the mountains, right? Imagine having, let's say, a compliance group hiking, up the mountains, talking about the industry, communicating, talking about the experiences, the compared cases that we're trying to onboard, or difficult, clients with transaction monitoring, and they bond and they learn from each other's experiences. So whatever the activity, I see that the underlying benefit is always the same. So why not give them what they want? Why force them to do it our way? So of course we want to be different in terms of the activities and the initiatives that they want to set up. Some panel stuff, some workshop stuff, seminars, things like that. will be arranged only if the data's there, only if the demand is there.
That's a great example. And I think that it's takeaway from this episode to our listeners and viewers that sometimes we underestimate the human bond element because everything become digital. Like you dealing with the partners digitally, you were talking with the vendors, even sometimes with the regulators, like everything become numbers and just pictures on the screens. But having this real bond and real community really influence how you do the things. I would like maybe to jump into the more practical steps. Like, what are the business cases or what from technology that community you see that the cases that you help with, maybe something that you have in mind that you would like to share with us?
In what way? Can you expand a little bit on that so I can think of specific cases?
Because like I see the community is the place where people can come together and discuss their problems or the ways how to overcome specific business cases, and it always good like to find and discuss, or as you have examples for solving certain issues that community help. Sometimes it's a potentially an issue coming to the market, getting regulations, like something that you think is a good example of community working on in a professional way.
I mean, I've seen this already happen from experience without even the organization being set up. So from the gatherings that I've been doing the last couple of years, you find salespeople talk about, it's hard to penetrate or find the right contact within a company, and then someone else will come up and talk about a tool they're using on LinkedIn or an email campaign that they did, and they help each other out in that way. With sales, though, a lot of it is introductions. A lot of it is synergies and introductions. They come together, but I think that's natural. Get two salespeople in the same room, that's going to happen. When it comes to compliance, for example, talking about the different cases, talking about the tools that they can be using. So when it comes to technology, for example, someone might say they're using, and I'm not going to name any technology providers in the industry, RegTech wise, but someone might be using a tool that they're not happy with. The compliance person next to them says, "Oh, I'm using this compliance tool and it's working perfect for this region," and I find that without having those conversations, without being in the same room, without having an open line of communication, there's a lot of trial and error. Whereas if you're in the same room with someone that's worked on something and has proven experience and successful experience on it, you can progress a lot faster. And in the same way that we are asking our members what they want and what we should be working on, the same way the members can be asking each other, how should I be doing this? What's the best way to grow? Which technology should I be using? And I see it all the time. And the gatherings that I've been doing have had a lot of alcohol involved. So a lot of people talk a lot more in that sense. So you see a lot of, conversations flying and information shared, not sensitive information, but people are more willing to help. And I've seen friendships form from that as well. I've seen experts pick up clients from these meetings when it comes to AI, especially. We've had a couple of friends from AI. Company has been, struggling to automate, streamline, or work on a platform so that they can work faster or better. And they've ended up hiring an AI consultant that's been in the meetings to help them on that technology. When it comes to the recruitment, of course, we're going to create a marketplace for the recruitment agencies themselves to advertise and the companies to advertise. But a couple of hires have happened from the gatherings as well. I truly believe in that human interaction, putting people in the same room where they can share their experiences, they can expand on their problems and find solutions on a face-to-face kind of level based on technology, based on business cases, based on growth issues, revenue issues. So yeah, definitely, I've seen it, and I think it will large numbers once we start getting the members onto the app and creating more gatherings.
What do you think will be the driver for the fintechs in, let's say, 5 years? Because the landscape is evolving a lot. And what do you think for our listeners and viewers to keep in mind, like what they will get a help from in the next 5 years as a main driver for the fintechs? Let's take a simple case. Like I'm in fintech, I'm middle manager, and I would like to evolve and go and pursue C-level position. I would like to put my all efforts in the fintechs. Like what I should keep in mind, what is the main driver for the next 5 years? Is it compliance? Is it regulations? Is it technology? Is it communities? Because it's easier for people to understand what to follow and keep an eye on.
Maybe this is more of a personal preference from my experience. I think AI is going to be a big driver, but I think because it's across the board, I would say if it was me, do not focus on something everyone else is focusing on, especially for the younger people. AI is going to be, part of your daily life in the workplace. differentiate yourself, put yourself in a unique position, focus on what will be the next driver. When it comes to AI, a lot of things can be automated, so there's going to be less people involved, right? So compliance is always a big driver. If we look at fintech 5 to 10 years ago, where you had the standard legacy types of payments, banks, even before the fintechs came out, and then you had blockchain, Bitcoin came out as a decentralized currency in the hopes that it would become the common currency of the world away from fiat. Great concepts. Until it stabilizes a bit, until it has greater adoption, that can't happen. But something amazing came out of that based on the same technology, stable coins, who are pretty much mimicking the currencies, not always 100%, but they've been a big transformation into the speed and efficiency of payments. And then you've had compliance having to find a way to catch up on that, because stablecoins have been adopted in the marketplace a lot more than Bitcoin has done in terms of the tokens being used for payment transactions, right? So I would say blockchain for sure, and stablecoins on off ramping. For me, that's my focus. That will be the driver. We've seen great numbers in the last couple of years from high volume industries, but I think it's going to standardize basically into a lot more industries. That because the more legitimate something becomes, the more regulated something becomes, the more normalized it becomes, right? So when I say compliance is the new driver, compliance will then bring stablecoins. Stablecoins will be accepted just as much as the fiat, right? So in that sense, technology, if you look at that as well, which will become a lot more automated. There's a few more years before we can say technology we could be set up just like that, right? It can't. You need there's a lot of factors, mechanics, and elements when you're setting something up. But it's not the same as it was, let's say 10 years ago, where you needed 5 million to set something up that's new because it wasn't out in the market. You couldn't really plug and play. You had to build your own stuff. Now it's a lot easier. So, as much as technology is needed, I think people are focusing on the wrong aspects of technology. And I don't think people focusing on technology being the driver are focusing on the right stuff. You need to focus on the practical, functional points of technology rather than the look of it, the features that the accountants or the payments guys don't really want, just so that you can say you've brought out something unique. So when it comes to the drivers, I think there's pros and cons in all the verticals. But for me, I think it's compliance that will then bring on blockchain, especially stablecoins.
It's a really great answer. And I feel it kind of overlaps with the community, because if I can simplify, the community is something which is being by nature, but not just created into marketing or financial purposes. And what you suggest is basically be an expert in the field, maybe compliance, maybe blockchain, because a lot of people will know the things on this like surface level with the AIs, but being an expert is really something that will be always in demand. So it's a great answer for finishing this podcast. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Stavros, for joining and having this awesome conversation. Thank you.